The famous claim, we send £350 million a week to the EU. Let's fund our NHS instead. But was that figure ever true? And did that money ever make its way back into the NHS once we left the European Union?
Every week, the United Kingdom sends £350 million of taxpayers' money to the EU. That's the cost of a fully staffed, brand new hospital.
Well, according to a letter from the UK Statistics Authority to Boris Johnson, that figure was misleading. So 10 years on from when 52% of the UK voted to leave the European Union, was that figure true, or was it just a political tool? Now, that famous £350 million number didn't come from nowhere. At the time, the UK's gross contribution to the EU was just under 350 million a week. It was actually around 327, but a very crucial detail is missing here. Before the UK sent any money to the European Union, it would get a rebate, and that equaled to around £75 million a week. That means the amount that the UK was actually sending was more like £250 million a week.
It was a very exaggerated way of counting contributions to the EU that didn't count some of the money that we got back and the discount effectively that we got from the EU as part of our terms of membership.
And even that isn't the full picture. The EU also spent money investing in the UK, such as farming subsidies, research schemes, and project development. So what about that slogan on the bus? Did any of the money that we saved from leaving the EU ever make its way back into the NHS? The short answer, no, not the way that the slogan made out. There was never a transfer of EU budget funds straight into the NHS.
What we saw in practice is that because of the economic impact of leaving the EU and the lower taxes that resulted in, there was actually less money available into the health service.
Government spending on the NHS has actually increased since Brexit, but not because a pot of cash became available after we left the EU.
In fact, it's gone up by much more than 350 million a week, almost twice as much. But none of that money came from Brexit, because Brexit actually slightly tended to reduce the amount of money that was available to fund the NHS and all public services, contributing to the squeeze we've had on public spending for the last few years. The money to raise the NHS budget had to come from higher taxes, and particularly during COVID-19, when of course most of that growth in the NHS budget happened.
So 10 years on from that referendum, was that claim on the side of a bus a lie, a simplification, or a marketing tool?